Welcome, friends. So I have a reflection point that came through today, actually, and I usually sit with them. I'm not sure why I'm feeling the call to share this so soon, so I will share any updated information as it comes, but this reflection point is all about weight loss. And this is an interesting one for me because before I started working as a channel, I was an eating disorder dietitian and certified intuitive eating counselor. So it makes sense that it came through because that's my world. I had my own personal experience with an eating disorder. I worked professionally as an eating disorder dietitian, so I know it through many different lenses. And so the message that came through really, it felt kind of special because it was all about the emphasis on weight loss in our society. And a lot of the messages that come through me are how we're basically understanding what it is that we need, but there's just this misdirection of energy, right? It's just a little bit askewed. And the way the reflection point came through was that it's not about physical weight. It's about density. So this reflection point is saying the emphasis on why so many people want to lose weight is because there is this soul-driven desire and need, especially as we are shifting in consciousness right now, to release density, right? And you can think as weight as something that is dense, but through this lens, it's not about physical weight. It's about energetic weight, energetic density of holding on to these lower vibrations, which when I say lower, it doesn't mean that they're worse or that they're bad. Lower means more dense. And so this idea that what we're actually needing, what we're actually wanting, is to be less dense energetically, right? It doesn't matter the size of your body. The energy that you're holding on to, are you holding on to dense experiences and emotions that you haven't fully processed, that you haven't fully let go of, right? The body keeps score. Are you holding on to that? Are you holding on to anger? Are you holding on to resentment? Are you holding on to greed, hate, envy, jealousy, right? Are you holding on to any energy, any dense energy that is keeping you in fear, that is keeping you in separation from yourself, from another? And it's interesting because the idea of wanting to lose weight inherently puts you in separation with your physical body. It's whether or not it's conscious, there's me and there's my body. And I'm going to tell my body what to do. I hate my body because it's not doing what I want it to do, because it's not looking the way I want it to look. But you and your body are one. And that realization that your body is just simply this, again, this is a lens. Your body is a physical manifestation of the soul that you are. Just like take a moment and take that in. Your physical body is a physical manifestation of the soul that you are. And it's interesting when we look at that through just the lens of anatomy and physiology, not even just at a species level, but kind of across many species, we share the same DNA sequencing with a lot of different species, right? It's just a slight variation in the sequencing that differentiates us from, say, a chimpanzee. And what kind of not separates us, but makes you unique and me unique from one another, again, an aspect of it is we each carry our own unique DNA. We have our own unique fingerprints. There are physical attributes that are unique to us. That is this reflection point, that you are unique frequency and that your physical body is the manifestation of that. Your body is the soul in manifest form. And I know that's a hard concept to grasp. I'm going to share with you my experience that helped me embody that. Because I could think about that and be like, yeah, I got that. But this experience that I had allowed it to be more fully embodied. And it's still something that I'm embodying. I think that's a big concept, right? So the experience I had, I was on a plane going home from my brother's wedding. And I'm going to explain in words as best I can. It might sound a little like out there. I was not on anything. I was just on a plane, right? Air pressure maybe, I don't know. But I've heard that actually like creativity is heightened in planes. So there was everything aligned to have this moment, and I'm very grateful for it. Because I was on the plane and it was as though everything turned into energy. And everybody, everything, the plane, everything, it just burst into this explosion of energy. There was no form, there was just energy. And then it came all right back into form. And that experience was my aha moment. I was like, oh my God, yes, okay. The physical form is divine. That word may not land, and that's okay. Think of the physical body just as the soul, as energy, as your unique energetic frequency in form. And so when you're trying to change the body, when you're trying to control the body, when you are othering the body in any way, right, that is keeping you separate from who you truly are. And so if we can shift, right, it's just this misdirection of energy. Wanting to lose weight is actually that like soul-driven desire, if you want to see it that way, of wanting to shed the density, to lift, to expand into a higher state of consciousness, into a higher dimension, if you see dimensions as consciousness, into more expanded states of awareness, into who and what you truly are. Releasing the density energetically. And this makes sense to me because last week I shared part of a weekly energy reading, and there are two things that really stood out. One was this feeling that I had when the channeling was talking about embodiment, and I felt this overwhelming sense that embodiment is going to shift. I can't give you specifics, but our understanding, our experience, how we work with the idea of embodiment is going to shift. I think it's going to include the body, and it already does, right? Embodiment is not just about the physical form in many circles. It is about the union, mind, body, spirit, and soul. Yoga. Yoga literally means yoke in union. This is nothing new. We've just simply forgot. So I feel like embodiment is going to shift, but part of that, and I think it's very interesting that with the astrology, which I am not an astrologer, I will say that loudly. I am not an astrologer. But my very simple understanding, right, Chiron is in Taurus. Taurus is very much about the body and the planet. And Chiron is the wounded healer. So really coming to terms with wounds around the physical body at the same time that we're having this unprecedented astrological event that really speaks to this a shift in collective consciousness. So it all makes sense. And then when the challenge is coming through, they were talking about unmanifest. And if you can hear Pepper, that's Pepper snoring. You hear little sounds in the background. And the term unmanifest, I felt there was a mighty thread there that I think will slowly reveal itself. But this idea of unmanifesting ourselves, right? There's so much focus on manifesting, but what if it's about not losing weight, unmanifesting some of the density that is keeping us stuck in illusion, of thinking that we're something that we're not, of trying to be something that we're not, of not allowing ourselves to be who we authentically are. And for you, that might land at the soul level, right? This eternal frequency. It might also, and or everything in between, speak to who you identify as, right? Who are you in this life? Your name, all the roles that you play, and showing up authentically, because they're not separate. There's just different pathways, different paths up the mountain, coming at it through it energetically, through your identity. There's no one right way. But again, this message is releasing the density. And I don't like to do shameless plugs, but I'm just sharing this because during COVID, I built this whole course around healing your relationship with your body and food through the chakras, or chakras. And working in eating disorders, having my own experience, I know how much stuff that there can be around the physical body and food. And so my intention with this course was, there's not a lot of stuff around the chakra system, right? You're not kind of like, oh, I wish I had her root chakra, right? Like, that doesn't really happen. I'm sure it does, but we don't have a lot of stuff, a lot of judgments, a lot of limiting beliefs around it. But I had this whole idea of like navigating through the chakras, because the energy informs the physical. And I've had a lot of messages around the future of healing, and I've had this unfolding message that I haven't spoken about. It's connected to another message around free energy that again I haven't really spoken about, but it's around frequency healing. And I just feel like we are shifting into this space of really finding this union of physical and energetic, which again came through that channeling, which is why I wanted to share it. But essentially, to wrap this up so I don't keep going off on tangents, is that losing weight is a misdirection of energy. It is a reflection point of wanting to lose density, wanting to release the dense emotions, the dense energies that maybe you're holding on to, that may not even be yours. You may be holding on to other people's dense energies, right? If you're very empathic, you might be holding on to other people's stuff. A really lovely way to clear it: I release any and all energies and emotions that are not mine or no longer serve me, right? Clearing away anything that you might be holding on that isn't yours, was never yours, and things that you've been holding on to that don't serve you. Just letting it go, releasing it, releasing it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. This idea of unmanifesting. And people talk about light bodies. And it's this kind of this similar idea of undensifying and embodying your light body, but also knowing, physically speaking, you may look exactly the same, but energetically, you're different. And in time, energetically, that will inform the physical, which, again, I'm not making promises of anything, but that could then heal ailments, right? You may also just be able to be more attuned with what something like an ailment is communicating to you, thereby also healing it, working in tandem because you and your body are one. I think I'm gonna leave it there. If you have anything to share, please feel free to do so. And until next time, friends, stay curious.